Hello and welcome everybody to this week's edition of the Founders Pod. Happy to have you with us. Happy to be broadcasting from the United Commercial Insurance Studio in studio with my two co-hosts. I'm Brandon Miner. This is Jordan Hansen and Matthew Lamb. Gentlemen.
Hey, everyone. Also, because we're in studio, we are live in Technicolor. You can see us, our colors, our shirts. We're on video. If you're listening to us, we appreciate that. You should also go, take a look at the YouTube. We're fine-looking gentlemen.
Yes.
Here, dressed up for this occasion.
Absolutely.
Also, big announcement. Those that come on our show, we interview lots of people. T-shirts.
That's right, baby. Got T-shirts right there.
Red T-shirts. Check it out. The Founders Pod.
That's right. When you come on there, you get one of those.
So that logo is a one-line drawing.
Yeah.
AI did it.
AI did it.
And that's why Brandon's foot and Matt's foot.
Yeah.
That's actually a picture. They were playing footsie in an interview.
And if you look at the logo, I'm very confused.
About the footsie or?
All of it.
All
like,
of
I
it.
feel a little uncomfortable in the logo.
That's why you're like scratching your head.
Yeah, and Matt's leaning into me, and I'm like, what's going on? Like, anyway.
If I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it.
We'll comment on the logo.
Comment
on logo. Comment what you think.
Logo. That's right.
Comment on what you think. Okay, it's we're located in Boise, Idaho. Okay? Boise, Idaho, somewhat cold right now. But what gives me happiness is to look forward to warmer days, right? You want to know what my favorite thing to do in warmer days is?
You want me to guess or you want me to I bet I know what it is.
Swim.
Yes, swim.
I love
the pool.
swimming.
Yes.
I love
great.
swimming. And in fact, here's the deal. We got a pool last year. I absolutely love that. It's like bucket list thing for me. I've always wanted to get a pool, right?
Check.
Here's the issue. My wife won't get in unless it's the temperature of like a warm bath, right? So it needs to be roughly 98 degrees on average for my wife to even like put her foot in, which is kind of ridiculous.
You have to be playing 98 degrees too, the boy band.
Ooh,
It helps. It helps.
It's not going to hurt.
To the point where like last year, the gas company called and they're like, hey, so you may have a leak. Like
No
something.
way. Did they
I'm
really?
not kidding. They're like, something's going on.
Yes.
And I was like, well, we have a leak? And they're like, yeah, well, like your usage really spiked in May. And I was like, I think I know what it is. I think I know what
got
the
it under
leak is.
control.
In fact, I think it's a controlled leak.
Yeah.
And so they're like, did you get a pool? I'm like, got a pool. And they're like, let me guess. And I was like, my wife. So we keep it around 90 degrees. In fact, I know
Mallory,
a friend.
you're great. Don't take this as...
No, she's incredible.
Yes.
Obviously. And I know a guy who keeps his pool at 90 degrees all year round, which is pretty sweet in Idaho. But either way, keep it at 90 degrees, keep it at 100 degrees. You can do that. You can make whatever decision you want to make, but you know who can give you that pool? The pool of your dreams.
Not in Treasure Valley.
Not in Treasure Valley, okay? But anywhere else.
Sun Valley.
Sun Valley. There's different valleys that they work in, okay? Utah, Arizona, Idaho, Sun Valley. Give them a call. Infinity Pools.
Cache Valley?
No.
Is that Utah?
Where's
maybe
Cache
it's in
Valley?
I thought
Yeah,
that's in
it's
Utah. I
That's
thought
fine.
I think that's in
Yeah.
That's
Logan.
totally fine.
Yeah.
Utah Valley area.
Oh,
Yeah.
Give them a call. Infinity Pools, infinitypooldesigns.com. Check them out on Instagram. Check them out on Twitter. Amazing designs. I mean, really, really incredible.
Yeah.
And so if you can dream it, they can do it. If you can't dream it, because apparently dreaming is somewhat controversial here, it may or may not happen, go online, look at some options, and they'll get you set up really nice.
Also, no S, infinitypooldesign.com.
infinitypooldesign.com.
There we go.
Google them, search them, whatever you need to do. You won't regret it. Give them a call today. Get on the list. You need to. If you want to have a pool,
Yeah.
you need to get on their list early.
So it's my brother, right? And he talked with him recently. They didn't stop building pools through the winter.
Oh.
So ground frozen. Do you know what a ripper is?
I'm guessing it rips up the frozen ground.
Yeah. So like on Gold Rush, where they're digging in frozen ground, the TV show, right? They're doing that to dig gold, but they used it to dig pools. So
That's crazy.
they're ripping up
Liquid
frozen
gold.
ground. Liquid gold. Yeah. It's gonna heat up
Spring,
soon.
summer, fall, and winter.
Just
It gets cold in Utah.
doesn't
Yes, it
stop.
does. Yeah.
Well, anyway, give him a call. You're going to be happy with it. Ren Lamb, great guy, great company, sponsor of this show. Happy to have them on. But we're gonna get into a new segment.
Yeah. So new segment is What's the Deal With? Where we talk about things that we have issues with.
Cue the audio on What's the Deal With. What's the deal with? New segment.
New segment, What's the Deal With? And today's What's the Deal With comes to us from Jordan.
Hello, I'm here. I'm Jordan. What's the deal with? I love a good movie. Love it. I use Rotten Tomatoes to gauge often. I love Batman Begins. It's one of my favorite movies. I watched it with the kids recently. A great movie.
That's with Christian Bale.
Christian Bale. The next one, Dark Knight. I don't like it at all.
So what's the deal with Dark Knight?
What's the deal? Yes, I knew. Everyone loves Dark Knight. It's 100% Rotten Tomatoes.
That's probably one of the best movies ever.
That's what I'm saying.
What about
Everyone
Dark Knight
loves
Rises?
it. Also hate
So
it.
is the what's the deal with you?
Yeah.
Maybe
Not the
deal with
movie.
Jordan?
Like
You like
that
it?
makes
you
me
don't even watch
mad.
these movies. There's no way.
You've never seen
I've
it?
seen them.
Dude,
Both?
probably the best acting performance of all time. Okay, Heath Ledger.
Oh, no.
That's Christian
Controversy.
Bale. No, Heath
Okay,
Ledger.
that- I agree with
will
that.
give
I
you,
agree with that.
Heath Ledger did a great job. There's nothing wrong with
Wow.
Heath Ledger in there. But what I hate, there's lots of things I hate about it. But I watched it. I hated it the first time. And then I was
Why?
like,
Yeah,
why,
why?
dude?
okay, this is what I don't like. Everyone suddenly hates Batman. And it's like, oh, no, Joker's going to kill everyone. It's like, what? He doesn't have any powers. All he is a crazy guy.
There's a reason though.
Because he's crazy, everyone suddenly turns on Batman, the guy that's been saving them forever. Like, he kills one guy, and everyone's like, okay, Batman's the bad guy.
Okay, but if
Let's
Batman
do what
goes,
Joker says.
if Batman goes away, he stops killing.
Okay. So
I'm just saying,
that's
like, you gotta
so
consider
dumb.
that.
That is so dumb. You're gonna be like, oh, okay, the crazy guy's right. The crazy guy wins.
If you're
I
just
get that.
listening
I
and
get
you
that.
can't see the video, Brandon is, as they say, triggered.
That really
He's
surprised
triggered.
me. That really
I knew that.
surprised me.
I know it's controversial. The thing is, I went back and watched it again because I was like, maybe I am wrong.
You don't even like what is the Bane one? What's that one?
It's Dark Knight Rises, and I have to say, I haven't even finished it. So it's not. I should watch it again. And
Wow.
This is my
Bane
what's the
is
deal
incredible
with,
as well.
Is my what's the deal with is Dark Knight, not Dark Knight Rises. I'll hold judgment on that.
What's the deal with what specifically?
The movie. No, I couldn't. It
specifically
was
the
so
movie.
long. I remember watching. I went back to watch it again. Could not finish it. I got an hour and a half in. I was just like, I can't.
Fascinating.
Like the car scene when it's going forever. It's constant action. I'm just like, oh my gosh. I get so mad that all these people they're like going against Batman. I'm like, you guys are idiots. No one would do this. He's crazy. And you're like, yeah, let's go with what he says. Hate it.
I get part of that. Like if the voice thing wasn't the deal, would it be better?
No, I don't care about that. I mean, the voice thing I think is silly.
It is silly.
But the main point is the fact that I thought Joker, Heath Ledger himself, it was just the amount of, he has no, not like he's like a superpower guy that like he
Heath
can
Ledger?
crush whole cities. He's like one guy. All he does is be crazy,
Which is awesome. Which is incredible.
which is cool, but he shouldn't have had that much power over the entire city, whereas Batman has a history. We could go on like this for a while, but that's my what's the deal with, my controversial thing. I know everyone feels otherwise. Rotten Tomatoes has 100% on this, which is like, to me, it's like, and the thing is, most of the time, I love a good movie. I feel like I can appreciate a good movie. I'm in line most of the time with good movies. I differ here.
I need to rewatch it. It's been a while.
You need to watch it,
No,
probably.
I've
You
seen
fell
it.
asleep in it, I'm sure.
Probably. Is the girl Maggie Gyllenhaal?
Yeah.
Is that who it is?
Is that who it is?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Okay.
Yes.
That story was kind of lame. That portion of the story is kind of lame.
All I know is
I'll accept
you're
it.
talking about a lot of things that are kind of lame.
No,
The Voice,
no.
that was kind of lame.
The Voice was-
okay. Joker being crazy, like that is a little bit
No,
lame.
no,
Maggie Gyllenhaal, a little bit lame.
The thing is, I'm
This
going to
is-
do
this
it.
is
I'm
my-
doing it. Don't.
This is my argument against Star Wars, by the way. We don't need to go
Star
in
Wars
there.
is dumb.
Okay,
Wait,
we don't
they're
need to go down that
stupid.
road.
We can talk about this at some point. I like Star Wars, but I'm not as strong as anyway. Continue.
Star Wars is insane. I'm gonna give you the defense.
Okay, 30 seconds. Go.
A 30-second defense. Okay, he was running the mobs out. He was gaining ground on getting the mobs out.
Okay.
So Joker aligns with the mob, so he has power.
Yep.
Right, and he puts Gotham in like these really difficult. That's what I think is so emotional about the movie. It's like incredibly difficult decisions to make. Right, where the easy one is to say, okay, get rid of Batman. Right, who's trying to help, and you won't have any more suffering. Right. But like the two cruise ships that could have been blown up. I mean, fascinating. And some of my favorite scenes of any movie came from Heath Ledger, right? Like when he was sitting down with Harvey at the hospital and he said hi to him. Like, I love that gif.
I can't remember it.
It's my favorite gif. That and like, why so serious? And where'd I get this smile? The pencil's psycho.
It's psycho.
It's
but
crazy.
At the same time, it's like, why wouldn't they just shoot the guy?
Right. Okay. I'll give you that. But I love that movie. I think that movie is like when I got done with that movie, I was like emotionally exhausted.
You're like your tissue box empty.
It was exhausting. I thought the dumbest part of the movie was the X-ray vision at the end.
I don't remember it. Remember,
you were already giving up.
I saw
on
that
the
part
movie.
once. I watched the whole movie once, but that was like when it first came out.
You'd given up on the movie by then.
And I probably was really pissed by then. Yeah.
Did you not like it?
I didn't know that about
My
you.
wife feels the same way.
The first time you saw it, you didn't like it.
Didn't like it the
and
first.
You tried again, and you're still
okay, yeah. It was years later. I was like, okay, I'm gonna give this another try.
Okay, litmus test though. What's your favorite movie? I just want to see if we're anywhere close.
We align on a lot of the same movies. I can't think of.
What about your wife?
I love Sixth Sense, but that's been a long time since I've seen it.
Okay.
Fight Club, I like too. I think these are.
He was dead the
I
whole
love
time.
when they have
what?
Spoiler.
He was dead the whole time.
That's right.
Oh, great. We're going to have to put an explicit on here or something to warn them.
My kids don't watch it. Oh my gosh, my kids listen to this sometimes. And I can't wait to show it to them.
Oh no, we'll edit.
I like Stranger Things a lot. Batman Begins, again, I love Batman Begins. Like, it's a great movie. Catch Me If You Can, good. There's lots of movies that, it's hard for me to think of a favorite.
Interstellar.
I love Interstellar. Yeah, big fan of Interstellar.
Wow, yeah, that was emotionally exhausting.
A lot of movies I think we'd align on. But this is one where I just diverge.
I don't know if Brandon's going to make it through the rest of the podcast.
Yeah. No, I'll be fine.
I'm glad it touched a nerve. I've been wanting to have this discussion with someone.
Really?
At some point. It's like almost a secret.
Again.
Watch it again, yeah. And yeah, it would be good to have a third opinion. Now, the thing is, Matt's opinion, I'm going to like because he's not going to like it.
Well, yeah, Matt, the one thing about Matt and movies is I've been disappointed. I'm just going to be honest. I've been so disappointed in Matt.
He is not into fiction though.
He's not into movies. That's why he doesn't dream.
Oh,
it's probably
he loves sports movies.
Sometimes, but I'll be like, dude, this entertainment show movie was amazing, and Matt's like, I fell asleep in it.
Yeah, but like anything,
and I'm like, you're just not interested in that.
Anything fantasy, he's not into. Well, let's talk about like Matt's not here. If it's a fantasy,
I know,
he's not into it.
But he doesn't appreciate the entertainment value of the fantasy stuff.
I agree.
Right?
Like Lord of the Rings, he doesn't like.
He poo-poos it away.
Right.
And I'm just like, you are snobbish.
But because it could be explained with
science, yes.
Science.
And I can
what about Stranger Things?
Love Stranger Things, and
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fantasy.
Yeah.
In a way.
That's why Matt's saying that sometimes
he's just Matt's inconsistent. I'm just gonna say it. He's inconsistent with that, and I've said that to you a number of times.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of realistic, right? Like,
I can't explain my movie.
That's true.
I don't try to explain it because
and there's times where we'll go to a movie and it's like very
Black
rare.
Panther, and I fell asleep in Black Panther.
I think I've gone every movie in my adult life, which maybe four that I've gone with Matt. He's fallen asleep in.
No. Did I fall asleep in Ad Astra?
Oh, I give that to you.
I didn't know what that is.
Ad Astra, possibly the worst movie of all time.
The worst.
Possibly the worst movie I've ever seen in my life.
If you're listening, sorry, but it was bad.
Do you like Brad Pitt?
Usually. I think he's good, but that movie
Let me give you a little timeline of Ad Astra.
Oh.
They're on Pluto.
Will they go to the moon first?
Well, okay, so here's the deal. There's like a group of astronauts on Pluto, and it's Brad Pitt's dad.
Yeah.
And they're like broadcasting some sort of signal that's hurting Earth. So Brad Pitt goes to the moon, then he goes to Mars and launches to Pluto.
And there's monkeys.
And on his way to Mars from the moon, they stop at this like space station and check in on the group of people. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
They go in and all the people are dead. And they're wandering around, and then monkeys, they're space monkeys, try to kill them.
Space monkeys?
Space monkeys.
Like they had a ship and they were flying in space?
Don't know. That's the only time
they were there. So these monkeys appear.
It?
No.
Oh,
the monkeys appear, kill some people, they get out, move on to Mars. That's the only time the monkeys came up. And it's serious. This is my exact opinion on that. They're in the production meeting, they're planning it, and they're like, guys, we need more. We need more. What do you got? What do you got? And somebody's like, I don't know, dinosaurs. And then somebody's like, monkeys. Yes, monkeys, go with it. Go with it. Throw it in.
Yeah. Randomly, monkeys. Did they have a zoo at least? Then they evolved? Anyway, we can talk about that.
Bad. Well, one person, it was your nephew, Derek.
Yes.
Well, actually, Brian, episode number 7 or something.
Hansen.
Brian Hansen, your brother.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He calls and he's like, I watched Ad Astra on the airplane. And he's like, I wanted a refund on my plane ticket.
That bad, huh?
It was that bad. He was like, I hated it so much. I was upset. Like, I left a bad review on Delta.
How dare you show this filth?
Yeah.
Trying to run a family?
It was bad.
He atted Delta on Twitter saying, come on.
It was bad. That was a
Why
bad
do you guys
move.
show this on your planes? Jordan, in your best Seinfeld voice, can you say what's the deal with?
What's the deal with? Best I can do. Wait,
Dark
Dark
Knight.
Knight. Okay, here we go. What's the deal with Dark Knight?
Your nephew Derek has a better
Oh, he loves Dark Knight. Oh, he does he?
Seinfeld voice.
Oh, well.
He also loves Dark Knight.
But I put
As
you on
do
the spot.
most normal humans.
Yeah.
Granted.
What's the deal? Yeah, I can't do it.
All right. We're going to jump into the next topic. And I'm going to introduce an article I read recently, somewhat recently. Okay. Lush Cosmetics. You guys familiar with Lush Cosmetics?
No.
No.
But
Okay.
I
So
am now because I know this article.
Maybe
You're
our
Okay.
wives.
Our
Maybe my
wives
wife
would
is.
probably-
well, it's our wives or even younger is their target demographic. Okay. So Lush Cosmetics is a large cosmetics manufacturer supplier who sells their products in like the mall or like Sephora or different outlets that sell makeup. And typically it's a younger generation of people, of women that are looking for these types of makeup products or cosmetic products, right? So they came out and they said the following: we are not going to advertise on social media at all because they believe it is bad for their customers to be on social media in the first place. Because their customers are younger. For example, in Instagram, they advertised really heavily on Instagram. And they said, look, for younger girls to be on Instagram, it's not the best for their mental health. But yet we're supporting that by advertising, like trying to push beauty and like how to be more beautiful on social media. And they said, no more. We're not going to do that, which is a huge business decision for them because I'm sure a lot of sales come from social media advertising. And so for them to shift and pivot away, I'm sure was very difficult. And it's a very altruistic stance, but it will affect your bottom line.
So we read this article more than a year ago. It was probably November of 2021. And I wonder if they're still not advertising. Did you check, Matt?
I was checking, but
If it may be hard to find. I don't know. But I'd be curious to see if they're still taking that stance. But let's assume they are.
It's an interesting case study,
It's an interesting case study.
to say the least. What are your guys' thoughts? If you were, first of all, I guess I want to understand your position on social media.
Matt is our local social media lover.
it's funny because the title of this article is "We're logging off until social media is safe for all."
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
when's that going to happen?
that's just not going to happen. You know when people announce that they're leaving social media? Like,
They announce it on social media.
they announce it on social media. They're like, I'm leaving until you guys are better.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, oh,
I'll check back in a week.
See ya. That's like,
Later today.
that's literally the thing where everybody's like, wow, we never even knew you existed anyway, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, "No, don't go."
I don't know. I don't know
too
who it would take. Because even Trump, who has a massive following on Twitter, he had however many millions of followers on Twitter. He left Twitter.
Well, banned.
Well,
right?
he got banned.
Well, yeah. He left. But he could come back, and he hasn't come back.
Forcibly left.
Yeah,
You think
he
would
left.
choose to leave Twitter.
He left Twitter, and he said, you're fired. Okay?
Well, someone said you're fine.
Somebody said they're fired. Well, he could come back, and he chose not to.
He hasn't come back.
He
Since
has not
Elon
come
Musk
back
has
to Twitter.
Unsuspended him. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
he unbanned him.
He pardoned him.
He pardoned him, and he hasn't come back. And so I don't know what person could ever influence the downfall of a social media or the change of that. But what are your guys' thoughts on social media in that instance or generally? Because when I looked up the different social media platforms, just to name a few, okay? Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, TikTok, Reddit, YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shorts or
YouTube?
TikTok. Yeah.
Snapchat, Visco, okay, Tagged, Be Real. I mean, there's almost a new one every year, right? That people are trying to, and then there's spin-offs of like Twitter because Trump went to, I forget,
Mastodon. Or I don't know where Trump went, but
It's like
Mastodon. is another.
True something. Wasn't
Yeah,
something
it's like basically everybody was sick of the left-leaning tendencies of Twitter, so they're like, okay, we're gonna create our own, and that's where
Right.
we went.
It's a right-leaning one.
Yeah, it's a right-leaning one. And so I guess the debate, there's a number of debates regarding social media, but if it affected your sales, I don't know that any of us make sales. Well, you do. You make sales on YouTube,
I
right?
do, yes, absolutely.
I mean, would you stop?
It would be tough for me. I would have to be proven really hard that it was ethically wrong what the company I was advertising was doing.
Okay.
I'm
Do you have
typically
any
like a
beef?
business is business. They should be able to make their own decisions whether they want to use Instagram or not. I'm going to advertise there because it's going to make me money.
Do you have any beef with YouTube?
No, I don't think so. I mean, no, not really.
YouTube's interesting in this sense, in this case, because yours are educational or
Yeah.
informative.
Right. Yeah, I'm selling ways for people to improve their business if that's, if
Right.
that's their industry. And so, yeah. Yeah, YouTube can be, YouTube's a borderline social media. You're talking about social media. Instagram, Facebook, I think are pretty known as ones where you compare. That's the hard part, especially with cosmetics, people that are in that. You're going to be comparing yourself to other people. And it really ends up with a lot. I know my wife has left Facebook, Instagram altogether for years because
We miss you, Kirsten.
Come back.
Please.
and she, because comparison stuff, it was just like, oh, I don't feel good after I use this. Why am I using this? Now, social media, I think, has changed some. Like Pinterest is not like that at all. I don't think there's any comparison really with Pinterest. TikTok also not really comparison. YouTube Shorts, these aren't hard comparison.
I think TikTok is incredibly
damaging, but different than how it used to be. That's more like a time waster, which you could argue that stuff's been around for a long time, and they're incredibly good at being engaging. Like that's their thing, right? Also, they probably are spying a ton.
Yeah,
Like there
absolutely.
are lots of discussions where it may get banned in the United States.
Yeah, well, in a lot of ways, if you're a government employee or you're in the active military, and you have TikTok on your phone,
I don't know, I wonder
they?
like, if they're not banned yet with those people, they may be because
Wasn't
it tracks everything.
Wasn't
like
it
way
Fit-
more than Facebook.
wasn't it Fitbit that came out and they like one day they posted a picture of all active Fitbit users, and it had people all over the world, and then they got in trouble and they're like, hey, there's some military people
You shouldn't be.
that shouldn't have been posted on there. There's like bases
Yeah.
that military people had a Fitbit on.
Yeah.
And they posted that. And so they were like, "Ooh, yeah, maybe that's a problem," And so, but I heard, and I believe this is the case, and I believe it was on the Joe Rogan podcast where he's like, in China, TikTok in China is a lot different. Whereas, like I don't know if you can have it under a certain age, but what they do is they heavily curate the content, where it's educational and inspirational, versus in America, it's like mindless entertainment, dumb dancing,
Which
right?
is interesting because TikTok is like, it's government, I don't know if subsidized by China, but it's definitely a Chinese company. And so that's the huge security concern is that China is using this to spy on the U.S.
Well,
citizens,
if they're making us dumber,
right.
in general, right?
I don't know that I'm just too much of a capitalist to think. I think they like the money that's going to come from TikTok and all the things they can get. But yeah, I think social media can be damaging. For me, I would still advertise on it.
Well, you left social media. You left a number of platforms.
I was kind of bored though. For me, it was like, it was more like the time wasting thing. It was like, I'm not gaining anything from Facebook, so I'm gonna leave. I'm not on TikTok right now because with time wasting, I don't feel like it's gonna, when sometimes you get sucked into those pits, like Reddit does it to me the most right now.
Oh yeah.
You get sucked in, you're like, well, I've kind of been like an hour.
Right.
What's just happened?
Scrolling.
Yeah, that just sucks you in too much. Sometimes, like I hit RE on my computer and it goes to Reddit Funny because that's like one of my most. And sometimes I'm like on Reddit Funny, I open another tab, and I go to Reddit Funny. And I'm thinking I still have it open.
Yeah, I've seen you do that.
Because it's like you're not thinking what you're doing, so you just open
Just
it.
more
Yeah.
Reddit funny. Bring it.
I'm just like, wait, I was just
Yeah,
here. It's just
yeah.
thoughtless. And that's kind of embarrassing that
Yeah.
happens to me. So I understand that sinkhole.
The thing I don't love about social media, there's a lot I don't love about social.
And you're not a big, so you're probably the least. I would say it's probably Brandon, and we're all very similar, right? Our demographic is like the same.
That's true.
We're pretty close to carbon copies with this, but
That's true.
Brandon's the least. I'm probably middle, and Matt's probably the most. But again,
When you say most, it's like I don't have TikTok.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
a Facebook account. Nothing has been posted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no friends. Maybe
Right.
one.
Yeah. So when I say the most, I say very little. Like we're all Twitter guys, and that's like it.
Twitter and Instagram.
The thing I don't like about social media, like Twitter, there's multiple things. But the thing that I think is really dangerous is there's no final post. There's no end. So you could be scrolling, and it's not like you get to a point where like, well, that was it for the day. And it could be 15 minutes later. Nope. You're going until the end of time. Like you could put unlimited amount of time into scrolling, right? And I just think that's, for me, I wish there was a social media where it's like, like on Twitter, if they're like, okay, you're following these people, here are their posts, and that's it.
I've told you to use TweetDeck before, man.
Yeah, I know you have.
TweetDeck is like, that's it. That's all. You only see the people you have, and it doesn't.
Didn't there's an end?
Well, I mean, it's the top ones are the most recent. So if you go down further, you can see what they've done in the past. But a lot of times I have nothing new.
Yeah,
Because I only am seeing the stuff.
And that's a sad day.
It's not, right?
Well, the thing is like the problem is their KPIs are not going to align. The KPI being the key performance indicator, their goals, they don't align with probably what is socially good for an individual. They want engagement. Right. And they are literally building to engage more.
Right.
They're not pretending like they're not. They 100% are. They're doing everything they can to keep you in more.
Did you see the post of the ad guy on Twitter?
No.
Did you see that?
I have no
It
idea.
was hilarious.
The ad
But
guy.
so Elon Musk comes out on tweets and he's like, "Hey, we're looking at ads because there's a problem with how ads are showing up on Twitter." And he put in a description as to what was going on. And somebody retweeted that was a former employee of Twitter and said, "As the former manager of Twitter ads, I can tell you this guy has no idea what he's talking about." Right? So it was him retweeting Elon Musk's post. And then Elon comes out and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, you must be a genius because Twitter ads were probably the worst in the entire world." Like literally nobody buys anything on advertising on Twitter. You're the worst. And then he got destroyed, like thousands of comments on that. Guy's like,
this is an interesting.
and the guy was like, literally nobody buys anything on Twitter. And he's 100% right. The ads you see on Twitter are so random and not even interesting at all.
Yeah.
That like, I'm sure.
Expensive. I don't know if you tried to advertise on Twitter, but it's expensive.
I haven't.
Yeah, it's expensive. It's not cheap, and they're not great. Like no one really has. I don't know any business that's being successful advertising on Twitter.
Well, and he was right. And so everybody's like, dude, it's almost like you're advertising that you are an engineer on the Challenger spacecraft, or like you are an engineer, or like you
Yikes.
know. And it's like you don't want to put that out there.
Is it
you
a
know?
little scary though that one person has literally like he could make death threats to someone like Elon Musk if he tweets something crappy about you? Like it's like almost not fair. Like the fight. This guy maybe has 10,000 or maybe even 20,000 followers, the head of the advertising, and so he's trying to poke shots, which maybe is dangerous, whatever. But Elon has
Millions.
100 million,
Yeah, 100
a
million.
lot, and he responds, and it's like
Everybody sees it.
everyone sees it, and there's gonna be a lot of people that doesn't matter what Elon says. They're gonna do exactly. They're gonna hate you.
Yeah.
100%. Want to kill you, maybe.
But you got to know that. I mean, and he was probably upset because he was the former ad manager of Twitter.
right.
And so I'm sure he was upset. But I mean, the way he queued it up, he should have started that tweet and then discarded it.
It's just not. It's a little bit like me kicking a 5-year-old kid, because
Yeah.
he has no chance. It doesn't
Maybe.
matter if Elon Musk says anything about if he mentions you and he says this guy's dumb, then that guy is gonna get like
Yeah.
forever his notifications. He's gonna have like 100,000 notifications that say
like, you're
you
an
are the
idiot.
dumbest person
Yeah.
ever. Why do you exist?
I don't
You should
know.
kill
Yeah,
yourself.
fair or not, I'm not sure. I mean, he certainly called it on himself, right? Like
Yeah,
he-
you're trying
he
to poke a
poked
bear, right? Yeah.
But I thought that was like hilarious, right? But
Right.
I don't know.
The point is valid.
So we sometimes advertise with influencers on TikTok, and I thought it was
Who's we?
fascinating.
United Commercial
United
Insurance.
Commercial Insurance, because the more, the more we reach out to trucking firms, the less interested they are in that type of media, like phone or email, because they get bombarded by phone calls and emails. But their interest on YouTube or TikTok, a lot of people don't try to sell anything to them on YouTube or TikTok, or they don't feel so cornered by a sale. And so one time we had her, Jackie Blaine, she was on the Founders Pod. She posted something about our insurance company, and then we just got calls, a ton of calls.
Wow.
And so I see a ton of value there.
What was the I'm curious. Was it?
The video was
What was the
nothing.
video?
It was all it was.
Call my rep over it.
No, it was this. It was like a 10-second picture of like her and her truck. She wasn't talking, and it just had UCI with our phone number, and then say call Elaine.
Yeah.
And then a bunch of people started calling, and we were like, "What's going on?"
Yeah.
And then Elaine found out. One of my salespeople found out that it was posted, and then we started saying, "Hey, can you post some more?"
Yeah.
And then it was almost like it was a button. Anytime she hit that button, we saw calls. And so we were like, "Hey, post some more. Like, here's some money. Like, post some more." And then more calls would come. And so there's a ton of value there. And I see it because they trust this person.
Yeah.
And that's a really, and if that person trusts us, right, then it's a good setup. And so I just think there's aspects of it that are really cool that way about social media, because you, for some reason, trust somebody you've never met, but they're doing what you're doing. And so you feel like they share your pain, and they, may know a few things about it. And so anyway, we did the same thing with somebody on YouTube who had like 150,000 followers. And so we tried to sponsor him on a video, and he did like a 40-minute video. And a lot of it was him kind of walking around his house, talking about things he was going to change on his house. And then he goes into insurance. Nobody called.
That's crazy. Yeah. I really wish I could understand, because you think just by numbers.
Excuse me. One person called, current customer called and said, "I want the same deal he got." We're like,
It made it worse.
We're like, well, we can't control that. And he's in a different state, and he had a better claims history. And there's so many factors that go into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. No, I mean, we did advertising on Facebook for a while, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
Like at all. It did not work at all. We did advertising. Obviously, Google's different. I don't know if it would be very difficult for me to pull the trigger to say, okay, I'm gonna take away a number of sales, because then some people could lose their job. Right? If you are making less sales,
Yeah.
then people lose their job, and now you're saying, okay, well, I'm sacrificing their jobs because I feel like YouTube is bad for people.
Right.
And they'd be like, well,
See,
it's
that's a
not
good
that
point,
bad,
right?
is it?
Yeah.
And so I don't know. It would be tough, but I understand their point, and I appreciate them. Right? I don't think that any of their customers got off of Instagram because they stopped advertising on it, but at least they're saying we're not making it worse.
Right.
I get that. And if they feel comfortable, I mean, if they're making a profit, however many millions of dollars in profit, can they not be happy without advertising on Instagram?
Yeah.
I don't know. I hate Instagram, by the way.
And you got to think that that's just a different form of advertising, right? We're going to make this claim that's going to be published in the news on Google or whatever, how people are going to come across that, because people probably found that article on social media.
Yeah.
Right? Like, hey, Lush is in, right? So
Right.
everybody shared it. And so it's like, well, that was a different form of advertising. It's probably a lot cheaper.
That's interesting.
But then that fades.
It's probably good intentions, right? But there's some marketing behind there too.
It's not a dumb thing to do.
No, but that story fades.
It does fade.
And the advertising doesn't fade, right? You continue with it. And so.
And they did it in 2021, so maybe they're going to think of something new here.
Well, they said when it's better, right? So now they could, anytime they could decide
when it's
better
safe
now.
for
And
all.
we're back.
We're back. We think it's
we
safe
deemed it safe for everyone.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I hate Instagram and Facebook. Like, I absolutely. And I had a college professor, not that I'm condoning going to college.
Not that you're against it.
Episode
I'm against it.
58.
Possibly, who said, Facebook's, they're going to crash and burn bad, because he's like, anytime you get these beehives where all of the worker bees are your customers, anytime you make the bees angry, they're going to go find a different hive. And he's like, at some point, Facebook is going to share too much information or change too much or do whatever, and it's going to make all the worker bees angry, and they're going to leave, and find a different platform where they're happier, right? And so...
But Facebook is still crushing it.
Yeah, they haven't. I don't know how many billions of people, but is it less relevant now than it used to be?
Well, that depends on how you. I mean, it's hard for me to bet against Zuckerberg right now. He just.
I don't know. They're not too happy with the meta thing.
I mean, stock keeps going up. I mean, it went down for a little bit when
Yeah.
everything else went down, but it's back up
Because
again.
he relinquished control of Facebook, and he's like, I'm going
He
to
did
focus on the metaverse.
Yeah. So I don't know, but Meta stock went down and then it's back up again.
Okay. I don't know. I mean,
it's not relevant to us.
Well, didn't he come out and say they're going to do like a $12 program?
Okay, I don't.
$12 a month for a Facebook account, and you get less ads or you get less whatever.
I believe you. I don't know.
Oh,
yeah.
We'll fact check it later.
I'm gonna fact check it right now.
But he did come out and say like, "Hey, we're having a renewed focus." Like
certainly on Meta.
Like vision. Like the attention has gone to other things, but just before the last quarterly meeting or whatever, and so that helped stock go up.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, they want to do like a verification account.
Oh yeah. They pay money to help quicker verification, right?
Yeah,
That's what they're saying.
$12.
Yeah. Yep, that makes sense. Because that process can be really painful for business to get verified when they're trying to advertise.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting.
Anyway, social media, love it or hate it. I stand strongly on the libertarian side, which is people got to make their own decisions. I don't think they're bad. You got to make your own choice, whether you advertise it there, whether you use it or not. The end.
There you go.
Matt, your take.
My take on social media is, I agree. The Lush article is very extreme in their stance.
Yes.
Right. And while I think social media in general, my feeling on it is that, yes, it's a huge time waster. Huge time waster. I don't love that side of it, but I also feel that there's a lot of good that can come from it. So for me, I coach my son's basketball team, and there's accounts on there that will post drills you can do.
Flex.
Plays. Yeah.
Matt's
just run
flexing on
flex
everybody.
the whole time. A lot of things that are beneficial that way. So I think there's a lot of different places you can waste your time. Not just necessarily on social media. And some places are a lot easier to waste your time, right? But you could go on social media and be disciplined, or you may not feel like you're wasting your time because you're learning something. So I'm not saying it's all bad or it's all good. I think there is good and bad. I'd probably say it tilts more toward the bad side, but I think there's good uses from it. And so I wouldn't say, don't use it.
Right.
I think it's like tearing us apart.
Yeah,
I think you and me. I think it's 100% tearing like our country apart.
Yeah.
Politically, socially. I don't think it's helping us at all. Like, I think the bad outweighs the good in a lot of cases, but I don't think it's ever going away.
No.
So
it certainly
you got to
shouldn't.
learn.
I mean, the only way it could go away is with like some kind of regulation, and I don't think that would be helpful.
I don't think
that's how it should be.
Yeah, I wouldn't approve of that. But I hope that there's a overcorrection.
I think that, I mean, I feel like the modern social medias are different than the beginning ones, and whether you say that I just don't think like Be Real is a lot better, I think, than some of the other ones.
Yeah.
And same with TikTok, for whatever you say, it wastes a lot of time, but it doesn't have the same thing with comparison, right? It's not so people, they do correct, and you don't know what it's gonna be like in 10 years. Who knows? But
no, you're right.
That's why I spend most of my time on MySpace.
That's right.
Not much negativity.
What about GeoCities?
I did see
GeoCities or whatever you want.
Who was the guy that was it Tom? Was the guy on MySpace?
Yeah. Was it Tom?
Somebody posted. They're like, look, this guy Tom, and it had that picture of him in a white shirt. He's like, he just wanted to be your friend.
Yeah.
He wasn't trying to steal your information or take anything from you or sell anything from you. He just wanted to be your friend, and he provided you a platform, and everybody hated him for it.
Yeah.
It's like, what was that all about?
It was your space.
Yeah, exactly.
And I just loved it when somebody would add you as their friend. You would always say thanks for the ad.
Oh,
like, hey, thanks for being my friend.
That's like
the line you would always drop. Thanks for the ad.
That's like the aloha spirit. It's like we've devolved as like a group of people since then.
All right.
It'd be awesome to get the MySpace owner on the Founders Pod.
If you're listening,
add a comment. Put a comment.
It would have been so awesome. Wouldn't it be awesome?
It'd be awesome. Wait, did you say if you're listening, find us on Twitter? Add me on Facebook.